Greetings and welcome to the weekly edition of the Safe Crypto Show. I am your host, Tyler Jordan, with co-hosts Mike and Jason. Each episode attempts to cover a range of topics, beginning with a global market cap review and a look at the past week's movers and shakers. Next, a discussion of general crypto news and happenings. Then we consider new and interesting projects and ICOs, all followed by a brief discussion of the weekly tech update by MAIDSAFE. Let's get started with the show. Safe Crypto Show disclaimer. Please keep in mind at all times that we, the hosts and guests of the Safe Crypto Show, are not offering or giving investment advice. We only state our personal opinions and thoughts on our own interests. By watching, you agree to not hold us responsible for any losses you may incur by executing trades or by maintaining holds based upon the subjects discussed in our episodes. It is Friday, the 18th of May, 2018. Today I'm flying solo again with my co-host on leave. So let's begin. So this week and well, maybe forevermore, I'm going to start looking at the coin dominance chart on CoinMarketCap to begin with. I think it's a little more interesting than just looking at weekly price movements in Bitcoin or Litecoin or whatever. And yeah, there's some really interesting kind of trends here. I'm looking at the month period. And we can see Bitcoin's kind of remained pretty steady. It's a bit down for the month in terms of its dominance. But coming down here, you can see this line is Ethereum, and it's got a nice slow trend up. Ethereum's dominance continues to move upward in a very nice way. And below that, we can see Ripple has been trending down in a very steady fashion. And below that we have Bitcoin Cash, which I'm going to talk about more here in a little bit, has moved up and kind of plateaued, and in the last week has been moving back down again. We have all others up here. This is, well, all others, I'm not sure how many that is, as measured by CoinMarketCap. It's a fair number because it's they're a pretty large percentage of this chart, but you can see it's pretty steady up and down. Not much information you can glean from that, though, I think. But clearly, we can see Ethereum moving up and Ripple moving down and Bitcoin Cash moving down. So I'm going to be tracking that, I think, from now on the show. I think it's kind of interesting to see the global trends as they're moving along. So our next chart we tend to look at is the global total market capitalization 7-day. So at the beginning of the week we had about 370 billion, shot up to pretty quickly for the first day or so there, up to nearly 400 billion, and then over the week it did get up past 400 billion with a high of about 412 billion. But we are ending the week down here all the way back down to 375 billion. So pretty much an up and down week. We didn't have any total gain, but a fair bit of trading going on as usual. Okay, Blocktivity. Now I'm going to focus a little bit more on Blocktivity this week than I usually do. Just noticing some interesting things. So Steem and BitShares, they're kind of trading places again. Ethereum, as usual, it's pretty pegged. 26,365 unconfirmed transactions. It's I hope, you know, they got Casper coming online. That's the next iteration of Ethereum. I hope maybe it'll have some speed bonuses because Ethereum really needs it. It's choking. It is choking bad. Bitcoin hanging in there, about half capacity. Golos, I'm still not sure what Golos is. I'm going to have to look that one up. Ethereum Classic coming in at number 6. That's pretty interesting. I think only 1.74% capacity, but the number of transactions, I suppose that's just because it is like Ethereum, you know, it's a smart contract platform, so it has a lot of activity because of that. Then Litecoin, then Dogecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Zero Cash or Zcash, and then Dash, then XMR, that's Monero. So what I'm finding interesting here is Bitcoin Cash. Now this week they've introduced 32 megabyte blocks, up from 8 megabytes. So that's really a huge increase. And I think Bitcoin Cash is a great experiment on how big block sizes can go, how that's going to work. So I'm excited to see how this plays out, how their 32 megabyte blocks go, and how that works out for them. Their usage, their what is it called? It's the CUI, Capacity Utilization Index, a ratio of blockchain daily activity to total blockchain capacity. So we can see with Bitcoin Cash, now that it has 32 megabyte blocks, is running at about 0.6% capacity. That's pretty low. And we can look down here at like Zcash, or sorry, Zcash, I should say, and it's running at 1.43% capacity. Now Zcash total transactions, sorry, I keep saying Zcash. Zcash total transactions is, well, it's about half that of Bitcoin Cash. It's more than half of what Bitcoin Cash is. And we can see that difference in speed there. Zcash, I think its fundamental algorithms were based on Bitcoin, so I reckon that it's kind of similar in that regard. So kind of a very loose comparison. Dash is distributed proof of stake and not proof of work, so it's at 0.69. But even that, with even then, Bitcoin Cash is lower capacity compared to even Dash, which has a pretty fast blockchain. So that's pretty incredible, I think. It's the 32 megabyte block is really working to speed up the Bitcoin Cash blockchain fairly dramatically, such that it can even beat out a distributed proof of stake system. Now the other interesting thing, if it were me, a choice between Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, I would preference Bitcoin Cash. I tend to like that community a little better myself, but the facts have to speak for themselves, don't they? And we can see Bitcoin has 197,567 transactions. What is that? That's per 24 hours, right? So nearly 200,000 transactions in 24 hours for Bitcoin. Bitcoin Cash, only 14,000 transactions, 14,500. We'll be generous. 14,500 transactions per 24 hours. Dogecoin has 23,500 transactions in 24 hours. Litecoin has 29,500 transactions per 24 hours. Even Ethereum Classic, well, we can't compare it to Ethereum Classic, but what are we seeing here? I mean, Zcash, sorry, I keep saying Zcash. Zcash has, it has more than half of what Bitcoin Cash's transactions are. Where is Bitcoin Cash going? I mean, relative to its price, it really doesn't seem like it belongs. Something's not. It's just that I maybe you get what I'm trying to say. I'm at a loss for words. I just think, how can it be worth so much when it's used so little? And that's all I got to say about that, I guess. Let's move on to the news. So this week, the EU adopts rules to reduce anonymity for crypto users. A directive affecting the crypto sector in Europe has been adopted by the EU Council. The document updates the anti-money laundering legislation of the European Union to address, among other issues, quote, the risks linked to virtual currencies, end quote. The new rules aim to reduce anonymity for both users and transactions, with requirements for Know Your Customer, that's the KYC procedures, that crypto platforms will have to implement. Meanwhile, a high-ranking ECB official has called for segregating the crypto business from traditional finances. Folks, that's fear. Fear. And you know what's going to happen, ultimately, and the more they push with things like this, the more they're just going to drive the adoption of decentralized exchanges and fully anonymous systems. So I don't mind that they do this. They want to push the global community, the global crypto community, to get involved with more anonymity projects and developing more fully decentralized exchanges. So be it. Let them. I don't understand where they think they're going to go with this. I guess maybe they think they're... I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, something to be on the watch out for. I think in the short run, it's going to affect people. It's going to cause people to possibly get in trouble if they don't start watching which exchanges they're using, and I don't know. I myself, for the most part, use decentralized exchanges like EtherDelta, simply because I don't have to deal with any of this kind of stuff. But I mainly do ICOs, so it doesn't work for everybody. Anywho, our next article: Iran and Russia discuss transacting crypto to avoid international sanctions. Iran and Russia could start using cryptocurrencies to avoid Western sanctions, Russian news portal RBC reported yesterday. Mohammad Reza Parabrahimi, wow, what a name, the head of the Iranian Parliamentary Commission for Economic Affairs, referred to cryptocurrencies as a promising way for both countries to avoid US dollar transactions, as well as a possible replacement of the SWIFT interbank payment system. Well, Mohammed, yes it is. Glad you're finally noticing that, even though Iran has been very much against cryptocurrencies and very much pushing its people away from them for some time now. I guess on one hand it's good for you, but it's not good for your people. What kind of a message is that? I don't know. Tends to be the case with a lot of government. They tend to think, it's good for us, we've got the guns, and the people, no, they can't do it. They don't have the guns. At a meeting with Dmitry Mezentsev, the chair of the Federation Council Committee on Economic Policy, Parabrahimi said that they have engaged the Central Bank of Iran to start developing proposals for the use of cryptocurrency. Well, there you go. I guess, I don't know what's that saying. It's good for me, not good for you, whatever. It's, I don't remember what it is. That sort of thing, it just really irritates me. It's hypocrisy, and but what are you going to do? Next article: Forex platform serving Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley adds crypto trading. Well, we knew this was a matter of time, didn't we? Software developer KX Systems has launched cryptocurrency trading on its white label Forex trading platform, KX for Flow. So that's the name of the platform. The company reported this in a blog post on May 14th. Starting today, customers are able to conduct spot trading of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and Ripple. So we're going to see more and more and more of this. This is going to widen the base. What's going to happen? It's going to slowly increase the market cap, the global market cap, and it's going to widen the base, which will hopefully bring more stability to crypto coins. So this is a great thing, all for it. Next, Japan. Nomura Bank announces crypto custody solution for institutional investors. Japan-based global investment bank Nomura has announced a venture to establish a custody offering for digital assets. Cointelegraph Japan reports today, May 16th. The new project aims at removing barriers to institutional investment in the crypto space. Nomura's joint venture will be conducted in partnership with digital asset security company Ledger and investment house Global Advisors. It's the name of the investment house, Global Advisors. According to reports, the partners allege that the shortage of robust and legally regulated safekeeping solutions is currently preventing traditional asset managers from building investment vehicles in the crypto ecosystem, emphasizing that overcoming custody and security obstacles is crucial given that, quote, 1 in 5 finance firms are allegedly considering launching digital asset trading and investment businesses in the coming year. The new digital asset custody venture is dubbed Komenu and will provide infrastructure and an operational framework for institutional investors to integrate their traditional investment vehicles into the frontier crypto industry. Just yesterday, major crypto wallet, U.S. crypto wallet provider and exchange service Coinbase announced its own custodian solution to address security and regulatory compliance concerns, with Coinbase VP Adam White saying that the product could, quote, unlock $10 billion of institutional investor money sitting on the sideline, end quote. Earlier this month, New York Stock Exchange owner ICE revealed its own plans to offer crypto swap contracts that would be settled in Bitcoin, suggesting that it too has come up with an SEC-compliant custody solution for institutional holders. The narrative that custody and regulatory obstacles are the last remaining obstacle for the crypto market to, quote, mature and draw major institutional investment is widely shared, and led CNBC's Robert Kelly to suggest recently that cryptocurrencies now, quote, look to be becoming an emergent asset class, with custody solutions a significant milestone that could soon herald widespread crypto adoption in the traditional financial sector. Well, we knew it was coming, and it looks like it's coming this year, folks. So I reckon we're going to see a really nice year. Hopefully it will bring more stability, having more of these bigger players and institutional investors coming in. Our last article this week, CFO, that's the Chief Financial Officer of Australia's Commonwealth Bank, quits role to join EOS token developer Block One. They're leaving the old banking system. They're jumping out the windows. No, actually, they're taking the golden parachute is what they're doing and getting out. Well, I guess technically it's not a golden parachute, but you know what I mean. They're getting out. They're leaving in droves. They're going to crypto because there's more money in crypto. Rob Jasudison, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. Rob Jasudison, the Chief Financial Officer of Australia's Commonwealth Bank, has left the bank to join a blockchain company. The Sydney Morning Herald reports May 14th. Jasudison resigned with immediate effect in order to become the Group President and Chief Operating Officer of blockchain software firm Block One. So he's taken all his experience and contacts with him into the crypto sector. And Block One has a lot of cash, folks. So, you know, his whole Rolodex is going with him. And he knows a lot of other people in the banking sector. This is big news, folks. This is kind of what the writing's kind of on the wall, I think, for those who have eyes open. And we're going to see more and more movement from the banking sector into crypto, and it's going to cascade, because once they start moving over there, you know, they start calling their friends, their buddies who are back in the old system, and they go, you know, you could be making a lot more money over here. You could be involved with something a lot more interesting, a lot more active. You know, it's the banking sector's doomed, folks. It's doomed. This sort of thing is writing on the wall for me. I believe that fully. Block One is the developer of the EOS.is blockchain software and operating system-like platform that aims to support the creation of decentralized apps on an industrial scale. The firm launched an initial coin offering in June 2017 to issue its ERC-20 compatible EOS tokens, which are scheduled to be distributed incrementally over a 341-day period until July 2018. At $12 billion, EOS is the fifth largest crypto asset by market capitalization. CEO of Block One, Brendan Bloomer, said that Jasudison's skills are an ideal fit, skills and contacts, for the company, underscoring Jasudison's track record in, quote, facilitating regulatory advancement. His contacts for emerging technologies. Yes. According to the Morning Herald, Jasudison's resignation after less than a year in the role comes at a difficult time for the CBA, the bank, the Commonwealth Bank of Australia. The bank is facing explosive allegations that it has consistently breached anti-money laundering and terrorism financing laws, and the disarray has left 6 of its senior leadership positions empty. Now, isn't that interesting? These banks are involved in money laundering and terrorism financing, and yet who gets the blame for all this stuff? The crypto community, over and over and over again. Oh, we can't let these guys get out of control. There's money laundering going on, and yet all these highly regulated banks are doing it all the time. So I tell you, folks, I think this is more hypocrisy. This is more, well, it's okay if we really rich and politically connected people do this stuff, but it's not okay if the little guy tries to evade, you know, our rules and try to launder their money around so we can't see how much they've earned or how much they've gained. It's good for the goose, it's not good for the gander. Reuters further reports that the CBA is part of an ongoing independent inquiry that has leveled accusations of widespread misconduct against several of Australia's leading financial institutions. I'm not going to go more into this, but you know, I've said enough. Have a look at the article if you want. Boy, I tell you, folks, crypto is going to be the thing. In 10 years' time, are banks even going to exist in a decade? I don't know. They're going to have a much smaller role, I guarantee it. And lastly, this week, the MAIDSAFE development update. So let's go over the highlights. MAIDSAFE is happy to announce that they've been asked to participate in the Decentralized Web Summit in San Francisco this summer. That could be really interesting. I look forward to hearing more about that. There's a link there if you want to follow on in the show notes. David Irvine and Nick Lambert were interviewed about the Safe Network for a BBC radio show. I had a listen to that. It was quite nice. It was a well done show, mostly about privacy and how Facebook and Google and all these use basically their users and take the things, that information they garner from them and sell it. All these horrible things that privacy networks are going to stop. So I'll have a link to that radio show as well in the show notes, just so people can have a look at that, have a listen to it. It was quite interesting. Sarah Pentland put out a Medium article on SafeCoin that has provoked some discussion on this forum topic, worth checking out. The C# bindings are progressing well. A pull request has been raised to merge the latest code with the upstream repository. This pull request is a huge step forward as it adds support for .NET Core, Windows, Linux, Mac OS, .NET framework for iOS and Android. And lastly, it's been a huge week in routing. It's one of those weeks that stands out in the history of the development of the project, and one that will go down as being a key milestone by the time we reach beta. Ooh, what could they mean by that? Let's have a closer look at that a little bit down there. Routing. It's been a huge week here at Routing. It's one of those, I think I've already read that part. As you may have gathered by this stage, we've made amazing progress in this area since the last development update, to the extent that in the next week or so, we are announcing something big. Very big. My words, folks, not theirs. Sorry, their words, folks, not mine. What am I saying? To answer the inevitable question, no, it's not the Alpha 3 release. Well, if it's not the Alpha 3 release, I don't know. Yeah, I'm really curious. Everybody here is curious on the forum. I read through the comments. Everybody's wanting to know what is going on. They continue, but to say we are excited about this is an understatement. We have a few things to tidy up at this side, but we're hoping to be in position to share this with you next week. Watch this space. Now, the people at MAIDSAFE are not pump and dumpers, folks, so this is going to be something real, I'm sure of it. This is going to be very interesting. So my eyes are going to be very closely watching what's going on this coming week, and hopefully yours will be too. So that's all I have for this week, and I hope you found the show interesting. I'd like to thank my viewers, and hopefully my co-host will join me again next week. So yeah, I hope you found the episode informative and helpful. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share our video with others, and tune in next week for another interesting episode. Bye.